Hello and welcome viewers. This is the Talk to Addis weekly program of Addis Media Network, and I'm your host Asrat Addisu. Our guest today is Hassan Hussein, Chief Executive Officer of the Entrepreneurship Development Institute under the auspices of the Ministry of Labor and Skills. Hello, Doctor.
Hello.
I would like, if you would introduce yourself about who you are to the audience.
My name is Hassan Hussein. I was born here in Ethiopia, did my undergraduate here in Ethiopia. For a few years I was teaching at Addis Ababa University, School of Business and Economics. Then I traveled to the US for graduate studies and lived there, I would say, half of my life, 28 years. Did a bunch of jobs, teaching, community organizing, media, writing, all kinds of stuff, and also promoting entrepreneurship and innovation with African immigrants and marginalized groups in Ethiopia, so that they will have their own businesses, so that they can build wealth and pass a better future for their children and grandchildren.
Oh, that indicates you were even engaged in these entrepreneurship activities.
Yeah, actually this thing, I started being fascinated with entrepreneurship when I was going to school here, because we used to have a communist government, and I grew up in the countryside. Every time I go back to my village, I would see the farmer who had 3 ox to plow his land. The next year he will have 2, the year after only 1. Their living standard was not improving, and the businesses I see year after year, they stay stagnant, and they don't they don't show growth. Don't employ a lot of people. This is the question that fascinated me from early on, and I did a study on why our enterprises don't grow, and I explored how our regulatory environment, our bureaucracy, had anything to do with it. I shelved that for years, and when I came back 6 years ago, right after the change, coming back here, I was thinking, maybe I'll teach at the university, or do some writing, have my own column, or start a literary magazine. But I traveled to the border regions of Guji and Gedo during and after the conflict. What I saw there is what brought me back to entrepreneurship. I saw a lot of young people who are unemployed, aimless, wandering around around town. They're not going to school, they're not working, and that's when I decided I need to go back to this my childhood fascination.
I see. So your postgraduate studies were, focusing on this aspect of.
I did my Master of Business Administration at Rochester Institute of Technology in New York State. My doctoral degree is in educational leadership.
So from this, educational academic background and from your life experience, how would you describe this entrepreneurship concept in general?
Well, it can be looked at in a narrow sense. It could be the act of starting one's own business, taking the risk, investing your own resources, or resources to solve a communal problem. So turning problems into business opportunities. But in a larger sense, it can also be seen as a way of life a way of looking at the world, because entrepreneurs by their nature tend to be problem solvers. When they see problems, they always think of what they could do to solve the problem, to satisfy the needs of the community. They take responsibility, personal responsibility. They don't wait for other people to solve problems, communal problems. They are go-getters. They take charge. For instance, one of the things we do is we work with individuals as well as institutions. Our purpose is for them to be able to solve problems, to turn problems into opportunities. And in a country, that has all kinds of social, economic, ecological, and a variety of problems, we need as many entrepreneurs as possible to help us solve these problems and to bring Ethiopia to where it needs to be. I think Ethiopia has a lot of potentials for growth. We have not utilized our resources. The most unutilized resource is, I think, our human power. We have a very large young population. They have ideas. They have a lot of creative ideas. Our culture is not one that encourages people to share those creative ideas. But once we are able to unleash the entrepreneurial potential of the youth, Ethiopia, could quickly become a very important country in Africa and in the world. And that's we are working to initiate, that transformation, to be a catalyst for this transformation.
Yeah, I think the reason behind the establishment of this institute might be these things that you mentioned, and I would be pleased if you could, elaborate me about this Entrepreneurship Development Institute, how it was established, and what its ambitions are.
It has been over a decade. It has been in the making for over a decade. It started out as a project by the United Nations Development Program, starting from 2012. And there was also another initiative by the World Bank, the Women Entrepreneurship Development Project. The project under UNDP used to be called Entrepreneurship Development Center. We were doing a lot of training for aspiring entrepreneurs and people who own their businesses. We built a lot of capacity. Donors were interested in supporting us. There was a lot of demand from institutions, from individuals, but we didn't have the legal setting necessary to be able to receive funding, to be able to hire people and deploy our capacity. So when the government was reorganized in 2021, EDI came into being as a quasi-governmental institution under the auspices of the Ministry of Labor and Skills. It is a quasi-governmental institution. Our role is to inspire, disrupt, and transform. This applies to both individuals and institutions. We are not limited to the two. We also want to create an ecosystem that is conducive for entrepreneurship and innovation to thrive and blossom.
So, some people even think of, entrepreneurship has been existing in the nation, in the country, in some ways, in one or another ways. So, what makes the EDI unique, different from the long-standing tradition and trends?
Well, yes, there are communities that have cultures similar to what we are trying to do in this institute. But as far as the larger community is concerned, this is a new concept. And compared to many countries around the world, and especially in our neighborhood in Africa, the number of enterprises we have in this country is very few compared to our large population. So we need to have more enterprises. We need to have more startups. The reason is very clear. Our public bureaucracy is very large, perhaps among the largest in Africa. It cannot take on new employment. It cannot be, in the old days, when I was growing up, a job was waiting for me after graduation, but no more. That era is long gone. We don't have many private enterprises to hire young people. So in order for us to accommodate our youth, to be able to provide gainful employment and a meaningful life for them, we need to make Ethiopia into a place where young people could easily start and grow their businesses. What's unique about EDI? I don't think there is any other institution, public institution, that's quasi-governmental, governmental in its mission. It is established to execute the priorities of the government, but the way we operate is completely different from a typical public institution. We don't have a lot of staff. We rely on the services of independent contractors who come and work for us to execute specific projects. We don't receive government funding. We raise our resources on our own from donors, from services provided to different organizations, both international and local. We charge institutions for our services, but we provide our services free to individuals. Our programs are very disruptive. People go through our interventions, be it training, BDS, or other services. They begin to see the world at new possibilities, new opportunities that they were not able to see before. They see a more powerful agency within themselves. They become more empowered, more motivated in turning the resources, the idle resources that are near them, and turning them into values. Whatever program we implement, we want to excel. We want to be an example to other people, to other institutions. It's a free-flowing environment. We have a very rich feedback culture, open to new ideas. We usually describe EDI as always a work in progress. We are into continuous improvement. We innovate our way out of any problem. Throw us any challenge, and we'll figure out how to turn that into an opportunity in no time. So we want all our institutions to be like this, for them to be very adaptive, very agile, very responsive to the people they serve. We want to model this behavior for both the private and the public sector, because our institutions generally tend to be very unresponsive, very bureaucratic. Accomplishing a simple thing takes a long time. People don't take responsibility. People don't feel powerful to solve problems. But by working with EDI, everyone at EDI is from the cleaner all the way to the CEO. We are here to serve. We are here to solve problems. We feel empowered. This is what we would like to pass to other people and other institutions.
Yeah, I just picked a kind of terminology that you used in your explanation. Disruptive program. What do you mean by disruptive?
We are implementing a project called SEED, Sustainable Employment through Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Development. The program is anchored around Tibet colleges in general and polytechnics in particular. Our purpose is to disrupt the way young people are being trained It is a consortium made up of 5 organizations. EDI is the leading institution. We have Ethiopian Airlines, Orbit Innovation and Health, Hope Enterprises, American College of Technology, and what we are doing is having the TBA colleges to be self-sufficient. If you go to any polytechnic college, they have a large compound, largely unused. They have row after row of machines and equipment. They have trained manpower, and yet they, at least in the old days, they used to sit down and wait for government budget to do what they would like to do, at their compound. The kind of training they give, even though it's called 70% of it was supposed to be practical, 30% theory, but for the most part it is theoretical. So what we have done is through a program called Public Entrepreneurship and Innovation, we trained the deans and their deputies. Immediately upon completing the training program, they went back, they scanned what resources they already have in their compound. They started all kinds of initiatives, setting up their own businesses. Young people who come to them for training also work there, earn additional income. The teachers are involved. They draw additional income. As an institution, they generate revenue to carry out whatever initiatives they chose. Over this past year alone, these colleges have raised over 1 billion. This is unprecedented. So a young person, an aimless person, who is frustrated about not being able to land in gainful employment, they go through our training program for a week. Sooner or later, they have found their purpose in life, and they start their own businesses. They become more disciplined, more focused.
What is expected, from this institution, the Entrepreneurship Development Institute, as a nation, and particularly at a city level here in Addis? What is expected?
Well, our role is to disrupt, to question conventional wisdom. We could be a great country. Addis Ababa could be greater. Currently, it is the political seat of Africa. We want it to be the innovation hub of the continent, where new ideas come, new startups mushroom, every day. A capital city where it is easy to start a business, where entrepreneurs and innovators are celebrated and supported. A city of possibilities and opportunities. We want to disrupt the public sector for it to be more innovative, for creative problem solving to be the modus operandi of our government as a system, and for also people working in government to be able to solve problems with speed and efficiency, with minimum cost, to make best use of resources, including and primarily our human resources. If you walk to many offices, you see a lot of people sitting idle. Here, you don't see that. I don't have a lot of stuff, but from cleaner, from drivers, everybody is busy improving themselves, making themselves useful in many different areas, gaining new perspectives, new skills every day. So we want to model a new kind of organizing, a new kind of work culture to the public and the private sector.
Yeah. So to meet these expectations, I think You are also expected to have relations, healthy relations with people, with stakeholders and partners. Like you earlier mentioned, private contractors and some international donors as well. So what is your current status of your relationship with this?
Actually, donors tend to come to us because of the work we do. Our promoters have been the people we have served over the years. Many people have gone through our programs, through our training, our BDS support, access to finance, market linkage, and ecosystem building and support. And they are usually impressed by our work ethic, our speed, our autonomy, our can-do attitude, our tendency not to be intimidated by big problems, our tendency to rise to the occasion, our tendency to always be on the move, to be constantly thinking of new solutions, new ways of doing things. We have excellent relationship with the donor community here, development partners. Excellent relationship with our government stakeholders. Our customers are very happy. So in everything we do, we want to perform at the peak of our abilities. So I would say the reason why we are where we are today is because we manage our relationships very well.
So these are considered to be the points behind the much more focus of the government to this institution. Can we say that?
Yeah, well, the government is doing a lot of things. We're doing our part to aid this effort, to speed up this effort. For instance, the Ethiopian government, and I think the ruling party, has declared that it wants to build an entrepreneurial state in this country. We want to aid in that process. The reason why we are training the state leaders, ministers, and players in the public system is to make sure that our country values entrepreneurship, values innovators, values people who try new things, people who try to solve problems, to always be on the lookout for easier ways of doing things, less expensive ways of doing things, to be of more and more meaningful support to the people we serve, to have a big ear to receive feedback, all kinds of feedback, to be responsive to things evolve on the ground. So it is time that the government paid attention to entrepreneurship, because like I said earlier, even though we have a large young population, the second largest population in Africa, when you come to the number of startups, the number of small, medium and large businesses in this country, we're not comparing favorably to Sub-Saharan Africa, let alone the rest of the world. This needs to change. So we want to contribute our part in making Ethiopia a place where creativity and innovation thrives, where creativity and innovation, pushing the boundaries out, is valued and appreciated.
Addis Media Network appreciates the interview that Dr. Hassan Hussein, the Chief Executive Officer of Entrepreneurship Development Institute, has conducted with the English department of the network. And as you followed, the Chief Executive Officer portrayed a vivid image of what entrepreneurship is and its importance. It is obvious that the public-private partnership is a bridge that connects the differences, the gaps in between a given society, and entrepreneurship is the pivotal aspect of a given society to leapfrog, to enhance, to run forward the development aspects of a given nation. So we would like to thank you for attending our program. See you on another session, and stay tuned with the rest of Addis Media Network programs.